Jill, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey with Dress for Success Central Alberta?
For sure. So I would say I'm a firstborn, A-type driven personality, and I have been accused in the past potentially of being a control freak, but I guess I enjoy having a plan. And back in 2012, I found myself unexpectedly a single mom to a 6-month-old, a 1.5-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And quickly became apparent that my goal of being a stay-at-home mom and having put my career on the back burner was not going to be a possibility. And so that's when my path crossed with Dress for Success.
And so how did you first learn about our organization?
I was actually trying to figure out where exactly. So I look back at my phone and I have some names, and I don't have the email that I had back then. But if I put it all straight in my head, I had been surrounded by a good group of people when I was going through my divorce. And one of those ladies had just mentioned when she knew that I needed to go back to work to check out Dress for Success. So it was definitely, just being surrounded by community and somebody else pointing me in that direction, because I had never heard of you guys before then.
That's wonderful. So what were your initial thoughts or feelings when you connected with Dress for Success?
You know what? It's interesting that you asked that question, because at that point I really had decision fatigue. Raising the kids by myself, processing the divorce, knowing I needed to go to work, and just somebody else telling me what to do was probably the best thing. Just, you need to go here, talk to this person, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I kind of equate it to like going on a trip. If I went on a trip when the kids were little, it's way easier to pack what the kids need than to pack what I need.
100%.
So to have somebody else basically like look after me and know that meant a lot.
That's a great way to think about it. So what circumstances or challenges led you to seek support from Dress for Success?
Well, when I think back to it, I'm like I said, I had a career on the back burner, so I was just bringing it, to the forefront way quicker than I had expected. But having a postpartum body and a post-relationship, just going, nothing in my closet made me feel like I wanted to go be the person I needed to be. But I also had this fear, I guess, of being the stereotypical mom that worked 3 jobs and never saw her kids, and that's not what I wanted for my family. So I also just knew I needed to be that person, and having the opportunity kind of to recreate myself is what I found Dress for Success to be for me.
Amazing. So was there a particular moment that made you reach out?
I think, like I said, it was more, again, being that A-type personality. It was on the list. Yeah. So it was just something that I did. But again, just the moment of going, maybe it could be different. Right? Like, just having something different, and getting beyond maybe the stigma of like needing help.
Right.
Asking for help, or just admitting that, I could have gone out and bought outfits, but the time and energy that it might have taken, I didn't feel that I had. And again, the guilt of, am I going to bounce a mortgage payment because I had to go do, right? So it kind of just looked after all those pieces so that I could keep all those, checks in the right boxes, so that, things didn't blow up.
Right, 100%. So how has your experience with Dress for Success shaped your personal and professional life?
I think Dress for Success, what I think it did for me was kind of gave me that like Clark Kent superhero moment.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's hard being a professional woman and having to switch hats and do all the things and keep everything in order. And I think Dress for Success kind of just gave me permission to create that persona and just be able to switch hats more easily. And it kind of gave me that superpower feeling that.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. What has this experience meant to you on a deeper level?
You know what? Being in your guys' new boutique today and you taking me for the tour, am amazed at where the program's come in 15 years. Like you guys celebrating your 15th anniversary and you guys doing the empowerment pin movement. I honestly, Dress for Success was something that came into my life, impacted me, and then kind of blew into the background really, because like life takes over, have these kids to raise in this career I needed to create. And so walking around in the boutique and seeing what you guys have done has just made me actually just look at the parallels. 2012 to now, I've done a lot of things in the same period of time, and seeing where I've come, it's just made me sit back and go, wow, like there's been a lot of changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And could you tell us a bit about your career now and what you do now?
Sure. So I was a financial broker before I had kids. And in the last year, I've been able to create a name with my partners and actually be able to work under my own name. So I work with Penstar Wealth Solutions. And being a financial broker, I've always been very conscious of money and decisions and budgeting, right? So when I look at what you guys provide, I'm like, wow, that can be make or break for women trying to get in the workforce. All the little extras that you guys provide. So when I overlap that into real life in my job, it is a game changer when you look at people's finances and their budgets and go like, how do you make it all work? Like there's times where you have to choose between food and clothes and what are the priorities gonna be, so.
100%. Yeah, we see so often that women don't prioritize themselves.
Totally.
Right? And it's their kids. They'll, do a million things for their kids but never sort of get to themselves. So absolutely. Is there something about your journey that you'd want others to hear or understand?
I think that, again, there's been lots of my reflection that I've done recently, and that has been like fear-based. There was things that I did back then that were fear-based, or that I wanted the protection, or again, looking after the kids and stuff. And I guess my biggest thing would be, if you can take 2 seconds and have a cup of tea or whatever, just like, what could it be? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, there's so much hard work and day-to-day grind that sometimes it's hard to think that those days will ever turn into something different. So yeah, just that, take a moment sometimes and think about what it could be.
Yes. And can you just share a little bit too more about when you had said like that stigma around asking for help? Mm-hmm. Because that's something that we hear so often from clients, is like that they didn't think that the program was for them. And that's something that we really want to overcome, that it is for people, women who need help, and that help looks different to different people.
Yeah. I was impressed. What's the name of your new initiative? The Hub?
Oh, the Career Hub.
Career Hub?
Yeah.
When I was reading about that, I was just overwhelmed, I think, with what you guys are creating with the Career Hub. I think I've been blessed that I have had people in my life that have surrounded me and like walked through that whole transition and change with me. That you creating that hub, it's not just asking for help. It's like creating a community, and when you can support each other and celebrate each other's wins and those advances and everything, I think that would be my biggest thing, is that it's more than asking for help. Right? If you can join a community and be able to give just as much as you take, then it's not just asking for help. And I think, again, if you, on one hand, are like, for myself being a single mom, it's like when you find yourself in that role, there are things you're just going to do. Mm-hmm. So then when you put yourself in that position that you're doing, then asking for help almost can feel like a crack. Mm-hmm. And when you're dealing with it all, if there's one little crack, then the dam could open. Yes. So I think it's way easier just to like build this wall, but in the same sense, sometimes we're making things harder for ourselves than if we could just, ask for help, and you just don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could give your past self one message before connecting with Dress for Success, what would it be?
Honestly, I think stay connected more. Like, meeting you, it was almost one of those like serendipitous kismet, whatever thing. And, I had met you at the Chamber of Commerce event and saw your name tag saying Dress for Success. And I almost had this like emotional reaction. I'm like, oh, Dress for Success. I know Dress for Success, right? And then to see you again at Ponoka, I'm like, I had thought about, I'm like, wow, that is a part of my story that I haven't thought about in a long time. Yeah. And it's probably one of those things that on the outside, I wouldn't have broadcasted that, like, oh, look, I have a new outfit to go to work today and I feel good.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But now to be able to look back at my story and be able to share this, there's going to be people in my circle that won't have known, and they're going to go, wow, that made a difference for her.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
And the luxury of time and perspective that comes with that, you know? Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. What would you say to someone thinking about reaching out to Dress for Success?
I believe in the quality of our life can be affected by the questions we ask ourselves. And then I guess it would be just, why not? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, check it out, learn, see, ask. Like, yeah. And again, sometimes that can take more energy than you think you have. And there's, I think, lots of times where I have not stepped outside of my comfort zone, or I've stayed in my block because I didn't think I had energy to go beyond. But the minute you do, there's so much more energy that you can gain instead of feeling like you have to do it all by yourself.
Absolutely. What would you like to say to people who make our work possible? Our volunteers, our donors?
I am just in awe, honestly. I am impressed with the way that you collaborate with so many people in the community. I think it's amazing when people can come together and it can have such an impact. And so I would just like to say thank you, because there's a part of me that just knows if I had got stuck in a rut, who knows where I'd be? Who knows where my kids would be, right?
Yeah.
So the work you guys do makes a difference.
Thank you. Thank you so much.